Hi everybody, I am going to talk about the intellectual disability or developmental delay. Intellectual disability is one of the commonest disabilities during the developmental period. It has been defined as socially determined interpretation of impairment by others. The term intellectual disability is of recent origin. It has replaced the term mental retardation to a great extent in many countries. Some countries like Canada and the United States of America use the word developmental delay to denote lifelong disabilities due to diminished mental capacity. The earlier term mental retardation is still used infrequently. World Health Organization has used the words mental retardation and retarded in the International Classification of Diseases version 10, but are under consideration for change in International Classification of Diseases in the next version. Intellectual disability describes aspects of persons who are either slow to develop or have not fully developed their speech, language, mental capacity, or physical capacity. It is relevant to understand the meaning, causes of intellectual disability, and learn the aspects of management of the same disability in social work intervention. At the end of this talk, you will gain an adequate knowledge about the meaning of intellectual disability, understand the causes of intellectual disability, and know the levels of intellectual disability. Intellectual disability is a permanent and irreversible disorder of competence that affects individuals, and it requires professional assessment, treatment, and management. Distinguishing features of this condition are significant intellectual delay and deficits in adaptive behavior. Such individuals will have severe difficulty in adapting to the surroundings. It is also identified by the presence of a significantly reduced ability to understand new or complex information with a reduced ability to cope independently, which starts before 18 years of age. Intellectual disability refers to impairments in both cognitive functioning and adaptive skills whose onset is during the developmental period. Hence, it is a developmental, functional, and cognitive disability. International Classification of Diseases continues to use the term mental retardation, but its use is not encouraged. Some of the terms used are mental handicap and learning disability. Developmental delay is another such word used. However, all these words are treated as derogatory words in the rights-based era. According to the American Association of Mental Retardation is a disability characterized by significant limitations both in intellectual functioning and in adaptive behavior, as expressed in conceptual, social, and practical adaptive skills. This disability originates before the age 18. According to the American Psychiatric Association, the new definition of mental disorder is a behavioral or psychological syndrome or pattern that occurs in an individual which reflects an underlying psychobiological dysfunction, and the consequence is distress or disability which is clinically significant. International Statistical Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems defines intellectual disability using 4 classifications ranging from mild intellectual disability to profound intellectual disability. A person has mild intellectual disability if his or her intelligence quotient range is 50 to 69. Moderate intellectual disability is when a person has an intelligence quotient between 35 and 49. It becomes severe intellectual disability if the intelligence quotient is in the range of 20 to 34. The last category is profound intellectual disability, and individuals with an intelligence quotient less than 20 falls in this category. The Rights of Persons with Disability Bill 2012 in India states that intellectual disability refers to a condition characterized by significant limitations both in intellectual functioning such as reasoning, learning, problem solving and so on, and in adaptive behavior which covers a range of everyday social and practical skills. Intellectual disability is categorized into mild, moderate, severe and profound levels on the basis of the scores of intelligence quotient. These levels give some guidance to the level of support someone might need, but the way a person functions in his or her life also depends on other factors including personality, coping skills, other disabilities such as physical, social or sensory, and what is demanded of them in different situations. Let me outline the levels of intellectual disability. 1. Mild intellectual disability. A mild intellectual disability is defined as an intelligence quotient between 50 and 69. Such a person has the ability to use speech in everyday situations and usually has full independence in self-care. Difficulties in identification of this population arise as those with borderline disability may not be in contact with the service providers. In general, the behavioral, emotional and social difficulties of the mildly intellectual disabled and the needs for treatment are more closely similar to those found in people of normal intelligence than to the specific problems of the moderately and severely intellectually disabled. 2. Moderate intellectual disability. A moderate intellectual disability is defined as an intelligence quotient between 35 and 49. People in this category are slow in comprehension, require supervision of self-care, and have retarded motor skills. Individuals in this category are slow in developing comprehension and use of language, and their eventual achievement in this area is limited. Achievement of self-care and motor skills is also retarded, and some need supervision throughout life. Generally, such people are fully mobile and physically active, and the majority show evidence of social development in their ability to establish contact, to communicate with others, and to engage in simple social activities. 3. Severe intellectual disability. A severe intellectual disability is defined as an intelligence quotient between 20 and 34. There is a marked impairment of motor skills, clinically significant damage to central nervous system. 4. Profound intellectual disability. The intelligence quotient in this category is estimated to be under 20, which means in practice that affected individuals are severely limited in their ability to understand or comply with the requests or instructions. Most such individuals are immobile or severely restricted in mobility, incontinent and capable at most of only very rudimentary forms of nonverbal communication. They possess little or no ability to care for their own basic needs and require constant help and supervision. Let me describe some of the main types of intellectual disability or developmental delay. 1. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, also known as ADHD. It is one of the most common childhood disorders and can continue through adolescence and adulthood. Symptoms include difficulty in staying focused and paying attention, difficulty in controlling behavior, and hyperactivity. 2. Autism. Autism is defined as a severe behavior disorder with onset in early childhood that is characterized by extreme withdrawal and self-stimulation. It significantly affects verbal and nonverbal communication and social interaction, usually evident before age 3 years, which adversely affects a child's educational performance. Other characteristics often associated with autism are engagement in repetitive activities and stereotypes movement, resistance to environmental change or change in daily routines, and usual sensory experiences. It is also a neurological disorder that leads to deficits in child's ability to communicate, understand language, play, develop social skills, and relate to others. 3. Asperger's syndrome. The term Asperger's syndrome is defined as a developmental disorder that is characterized by difficulty with the social interactions and difficulty in dealing with other people. The disorder of Asperger's syndrome is now recognized as a relatively common intellectual disability. The impact of this disorder on children and their families is profound. It is also identified as an intellectual disorder and is assumed to be a mild case of autism. 4. Learning disabilities. The label learning disability refers to a category of children and does not describe the specific deficit or dysfunction of the child or the specific academic or achievement problem of the child. The label assists persons in identifying and classifying children who need special help. Specific learning disability means a disorder in one or more of basic psychological processes involved in using language, spoken or written, which may manifest itself in an imperfect ability to listen, think, speak, read, write, spell, or to do mathematical calculations. The term includes such conditions as perceptual handicaps, brain injury, minimal brain dysfunction, dyslexia, and developmental aphasia. 5. Down's syndrome. It is a condition in which a person is born with an extra copy of chromosome 21. People with Down syndrome can have physical problems as well as intellectual disability. Every person born with Down syndrome is different. It is a commonest cause of severe mental intellectual disability with an incidence of 1 in 650 live births virtually in all countries. 6. Tuberous sclerosis. Tuberous sclerosis is a rare genetic disease that causes benign tumor to grow in the brain and other organs. Those who have the mild form of the condition may live a perfectly normal life, and the assessment or diagnosis may only come to light when the disease manifests itself in its severe form. And at this stage, Many organ systems may be affected, and this is characterized by developmental delay, epileptic seizures, and severe behavior disorders. 7. Fragile X syndrome. This condition is the most common cause of inherited mental handicap, with an estimated prevalence of 1 in every 1,000 males and one case of generally milder mental handicap in every 200 females. In males, it is characterized by moderate to severe mental handicap, long thin faces with prominent jaws, large protuberant ears, and autistic features. Regarding the prevalence of intellectual disability, it is thought to affect about 1% of the world population. Of those affected, 85% have mild intellectual disability. Let me outline the causes of intellectual disability. The reason or cause for the intellectual disability is not always known. However, more than half of these disability are caused by factors before birth, namely prenatal, others by factors around the birth period, namely perinatal, and some later, that is postnatal. Prenatal factors cause intellectual disability before birth. These factors include diseases that have affected the mother during pregnancy or genetic incompatibilities between the parents. Chromosomal problems, genetic disorders, syndromes like Williams syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome, infections of the mother during pregnancy, use of drugs, alcohol, or toxins during pregnancy can also lead to intellectual disability in the child. Perinatal factors are responsible for this disability that is acquired during birth. These factors are such as prolonged lack of oxygen due to the obstruction of the respiratory tract, damage caused to the brain during birth or due to reasons of accidental misuse of forceps or due to premature birth, trauma during birth, biochemical abnormalities such as low sugar levels. Children with low birth weight are at increased risk of having these complications after birth. Postnatal factors cause intellectual disability after birth. These factors can be internal damage due to accidents, infections, head injuries, poisons, near drowning, extreme malnutrition, exposure to toxic substances such as lead, and severe neglect or abuse. Developmental delay may be caused by a variety of factors such as heredity, problems with pregnancy, and premature birth. The cause is not always known. Some conditions like Down syndrome are genetic in origin. Infection or other problems during pregnancy and childbirth as well as premature birth can cause developmental delay. It can also be a symptom of other underlying medical conditions including autism spectrum disorders, cerebral palsy, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, myopathies, and muscular dystrophies. Let me discuss about the role of social workers in the management of persons with intellectual disability. In the earlier days, it was the practice that people with intellectual disability were isolated, excluded from society, and were kept in separate institutions meant for them. This concept has undergone a major shift. There are changes in the perception, management, and intervention process of the challenges faced by the intellectually disabled, and these changes have begun universally about 15 to 20 years ago. The practice of sending the person with the intellectual disability to an institution has given way for the practice of community-based rehabilitation. The support of family, community, and the availability of allied services like healthcare, education, and skill development have become the essential components of the community-based rehabilitation model. Social workers play an important role in educating the family about the positive aspects of the intellectually disabled people living an ordinary life in the community. They can enable the family to support the person with the disability to live in the community like the others. To support people in living an ordinary life means considering all aspects of life, including employment and friendship. This process requires both practical and emotional input involving a personal counseling role and the imaginative use of casework skills. The child with a developmental delay has the same needs as any other child. All children benefit from a warm, secure, and nurturing environment. They need to feel accepted with their individual patterns of strengths and weaknesses. This is important for the development of self-esteem, which builds confidence for learning new skills. Children with development delay learn in a similar way, like other children, but usually take longer time to develop new skills. There is a need for intense focus and drive towards creating awareness of legislation among families of persons with intellectual disability. Various print and non-print modes are to be used for this purpose so that even illiterate persons will benefit from the information provided. Children with developmental delay can benefit from a wide variety of experiences within their family and local community. Social workers provide counseling and support for families who have children with special needs. They also disseminate information about early intervention programs and entitlements and help in finding the most appropriate services. They can also link those parents who would like to meet other parents with similar experiences. Let me mention about the legal and educational mechanisms available for the persons with intellectual disability. Programs on prevention, early detection and early intervention for babies at risk or children with developmental delays are carried out by the health department in each state. In addition, a number of voluntary organizations are functioning in the country providing services to infants and children and their families. Institutes such as National Institute of Mentally Handicapped have exclusive early intervention units and also extension programs to reach out to persons with intellectual disability and their families. A number of training programs are conducted for professionals throughout the country by non-governmental organizations also. National Institute of Mentally Handicapped conducts postgraduate diploma program in early intervention and a diploma program for early childhood special education approved by the Rehabilitation Council of India. Empowering family members and working with them in partnership seems to be the trend and focus in the country. Integrated education of disabled children is implemented by the Department of Education, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, and aims to educate children with disability in mainstream schools. The special schools provide education to children with intellectual disability with a focus on functional skills and independent living skills. Functional assessment and programming is followed, and there is no centralized curriculum and certifying board of education for children with a mental handicap as it is in the case of children with other sensory and motor disabilities. Therefore, it provides flexibility to the teacher in planning, but on the flip side, there are no standards on which the program can be evaluated. The Persons with Disabilities Act 1995 that ensures equal opportunities, protection of rights and full participation aid in managing the disabilities such as blindness, low vision, leprosy cured, hearing impairment, locomotor disabilities, mental handicap and mental illness. Besides, the National Trust Act 1999 for the welfare of persons with autism, cerebral palsy, intellectual disabilities and multiple disabilities has schemes and programs that aid in managing these disabilities in India. The social workers can also function as a link and educator in creating awareness about the various resources available in India for the children with intellectual disability. There is also the important aspect of counseling services which a social worker can provide for the family members. Let me sum up. Intellectual disability is one of the commonest disabilities during the developmental period. It has replaced the term mental retardation to a great extent in many countries. Some countries like Canada and the United States of America use the word developmental delay to denote lifelong disabilities due to diminished mental capacity. Intellectual disability describes aspects of a person who is either slow to develop or has not fully developed their speech, language, mental capacity or physical capacity. It is categorized into mild, moderate, severe and profound levels on the basis of the intelligence quotient scores. It is thought to affect about 1% of the world population. Of those affected, 85% have mild intellectual disability. In India, Census 2011 has revealed that a total of 2 crores 68 lakhs 10,557 of people in India as suffering from one or the other kind of disability. This is equivalent to 2.21% of the total population. Out of these, a total of 15 lakhs 5,624 people belong to the type of intellectual disability. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, autism, Asperger's syndrome, learning disabilities, Down syndrome, tuberous sclerosis and Fragile X syndrome are the main types of intellectual disability. More than half of the intellectual disabilities are caused by factors before birth, namely prenatal, others by factors around the birth period, namely perinatal, and some later, that is postnatal. The practice of sending the person with intellectual disability to an institution has given way for the practice of community-based rehabilitation. The support of family, community, and the availability of allied services like healthcare, education, and skill development have become the essential components of the community-based rehabilitation model. Social workers play an important role in educating the family about the positive aspects of the intellectually disabled living an ordinary life in the community. Children with development delay learn in a similar way like other children, but usually take longer time to develop new skills. There is a need for intense focus and drive towards creating awareness of legislation among families of persons with intellectual disability. Various print and non-print modes are to be used for this purpose, so that even illiterate persons will benefit from the information provided. Programs on prevention, early detection, and early intervention for babies at risk or children with developmental delays are carried out by the health department in each state. In addition, a number of voluntary organizations are functioning in the country providing services to infants and children and their families. The social workers can also function as a link and educator in creating awareness about the various resources available in India for the children with intellectual disability. Let me sign off now and hope to see you in another session. Thank you.